Okay, where were we? I need to bathe. That's an incredibly good and timely reminder. I don't need a fridge. I guess I could put it off so I could steal the boot, but I don't care that much. Yeah, I'll just let Kitsuragi take it. I have enough money to spend the night at the hostel. I'm not thinking any longer term than that. Don't beat yourself up if you manage to send the body to the processing without getting hold of the boots. Well done. I interpret this challenge as permission to fail. Ask Kuno about the armor. Talk to the chef about food. Deal with the situation. Oh yeah, I had an empathy check with Kuno I wanted to make.
Necromancer pig! That ship was dark! Going in there like that! Brutal shit! Tell me, Kono dies, you're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kono's gonna go out in a hail of bullets! Gonna look like a fucking porcupine!
I don't need a fridge. This check should be so doable. I got all these bonuses. I'm rolling. Kuno S is by far the worst of the two. Kuno has no problem being near you, but the other hides behind the fence, afraid for her life, like she's done something very bad. She came up with that psychopathic scheme of screaming for help before. Kuno just wanted to talk to you about his name. Kuno S was the one who wound him up and directed him. All in all, Kuno respects madness. You cannot hope to out there on that front. You must win yourself a few minutes with him alone. Let's whisper, pig. This is it. You've got him. But be careful. You can still fuck this up. Don't make Kuno look bad in this. This makes it sound like Kuno's a damsel in distress, right? That's wrong. We're not going with number one. I think it's number two. Crazy? You don't know the half of it. She's not crazy. She's insane. Dangerous. She smoked a man. She's done people and probably even pigs. She understands what you're trying to do. Kuno's got it under control. That makes me feel better. They're just disco pigs. Kuno flinches, then lowers his voice even more. She was in the hallway, dripping wet, by the fucking shoe rack in the dark. Kuno's got no fucking idea. Her hair was all wet. I think she pissed on the floor, too. She was there for 3 days in the corner, every time Kuno went out. I don't know, someone left the door open. Kuno comes home, she's sleeping under the desk, under a pile of clothes, like a dog. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit, doesn't even see her there, or thinks it's fucking Kuno. None of that kitty psycho cat burning shit. She does the real deal. Just burning cats is fake psycho stuff. Believe me, pig, you don't want to know. Right now, he not only means it, he is sincere. This is a stupid question. Like, come on, detective. I know that he's serious. I knew you pigs were too naive for this shit. Good thing Kuno's got her under control. A cop would be too large for her to overpower, but a determined child of her size can still kill the vulnerable. Of course. The elderly, the homeless, or other children. He usually looks you straight in the eye. A little something just crumbled there. Kuno's gonna put you at ease. We didn't do it. He speaks the truth, my liege. Dang. Kuno made him respect the Kuno. That's exactly what Kuno did. Kuno's gonna get you hooked on illegal narcotics. If you run a little errand for the Kuno, get you hooked, pig. Man. I found a drug dealer. The armor was too big. That shit means nothing to Kuno. Kuno doesn't give a shit about material shit. Kuno's a fucking monk. I can tell. Came around talking about cows or some shit. Came around pretending like he cares about cows. I hate words too. That's true. Watch out, Kuno, he's trying to relate to you. Kuno's dad is a fucking monster, he says proudly. He's the most violent man in Revachol. Doesn't give a shit about a single thing. He drinks, too. Am I a narc? Lie. You need speed. I don't want to tell Kuno I'm a narc. What the hell are you signing us up for here? I'm going to kill Kuno's dad. Yeah, Kim, be serious here. But also, Kim, fuck off with his body so I can do this myself. Rip boots. Well, I have one extra hit point. What's my best loadout for physical instrument? Increase my physique if I want. By drinking some alcohol. That seems like a good idea before encountering Kuno's dad. What will be the repercussions? Nothing. Some mental stuff. Nothing to be worried about. Sounds great. Secret task complete. Find booze and drink it. What should I raise? Inland Empire, maybe? Seems pretty good. My authority is not great right now. Volition's not bad. I'm gonna go Inland Empire, I think. The cutter goes through him like dead leaves. The links fall to the ground on the other side of the door. Don't let the quiet fool you. The beast is in there somewhere, ready to rip you to shreds with a broken bottle. Let's go in now. Books of critical theory on the monstrosities of capital and such. Kuno de Reuter is the name on unfinished homework. It's from 2 years ago. blast it before you face the beast. I don't know. Do I need to face the beast? Probably not, right? Robbing him seemed to work fine.
Trying to sneak up on me again?
This is conceptualization. That'd be good to level up. Oops. Well, I have some insight into where the drugs are coming from, Joyce.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
That doesn't unlock a white check, right? No.
Fuck, does Kuno care?
You don't need more drugs, you're 12. It's time to take the moral high ground on Kuno. Kuno's got brains. This shit doesn't surprise Kuno. So Kuno's gonna give you one more chance. Know this, pig. Shit's major. Kuno won't take this shit lightly. The pieces are moving, pig. This is fucking domino shit. It's hard to see how not giving the boy a bag of amphetamine would cause some catastrophic cascade response. The boy flicks an imaginary domino piece with his index finger. Decision time. What's it gonna be? You gonna fuck with the Kuno? Dang. Just not been making so much progress with Kuno. Now he's trying to muscle me. I don't have to put up with that. Sorry, Kuno. I want to learn more about Rage City, but... This is about you and Kuno. You mismanaged this shit. Now everything's fucked between us. How are you gonna make this up to the Kuno, huh? There is genuine disappointment below the act, sire. In truth, Kuno doesn't really believe there's anything you can do to make up for this. The damage is irreparable. "6 meters underground, below piping from before the war, the collapsed remains of the Martinez storm drain system. There are 2 stolen flashlights with piles of batteries next to them beside 2 bedrolls, in the dark, an opening into the lower tunnels." Don't take your name into that, Kuno. I killed your dad. Stop saying all this sad shit, Kuno. The whisper comes smaller than usual. Get your fucking known ass out of here before Kuno fucks it dead. If he doesn't stop soon, he's gonna collapse from exhaustion. He's red all over. Find a job. He's 12. Alright, bye. What else do I got going on today? Borscht. Oh yeah, I can find him. You know what? I probably should have washed all the blood off my hands before I went in an apartment. Slips my mind. Hey Laggy, what's going on?
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
I suggest not wasting time on trivial pleasantries and focusing on why you're actually here. Titus Hardy. Even though she has excellent control over herself, something moved behind her eyes and the way she stands in her face. Mention of Manana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again. They're friends. Man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his and then seems to wait for you to speak. I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. He can just say something cool in return. I'm saying something cool. Borscht needs more vodka. And that makes it very special borscht indeed. Turn it up and then ask for some yourself. Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg. Add more vodka to the strike borscht. What could go wrong, right? Oh yeah, I can level up. More empathy? Empathy seems good. I'm a cop though. Visual calculus is important. But more important than empathy though? Yeah, my suggestion is ass. I give up on that one. I don't know. Conceptualization was the one I was thinking. So I could take that white check again. See art in the world. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Do I have any more thoughts I want to add? No, not really. Just hang on to it for a minute. Even having drunk some alcohol, I cannot stop the expression. Interfacing to fix the faucet. I want to live forever with the corpse smell, memento mori and stuff. The water is only lukewarm, but still comforting, like amniotic fluid. A few beer cans are bobbing up and down along your flanks like sad duckies. You feel nice and lonely, and so tired. I feel lonely. I guess I just leave them in. Get him out of here. They're not even really thoughts, just assorted sensations, none of them acute enough to focus on. Let's try imagining something. You see the corpse. You can still smell the cadaver on you. It's gonna take more than one bath to get rid of that stench. Then, houses along a narrow street, a video rental, darkness on the planet's curvature. Your fingers grow pale and are covered with tiny whorls as the water cools. The water line recedes as you stand. You're cold now. Your clothes stick to your still moist skin. So that's what bathing is like. For the rest of the world, the Aces High is just a cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades, and those cargo pants could store tools for hotfixing your aerostatic. Maybe you should ask him about this? Is that something to say to you?
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Establish authority. Oh yeah, I guess we could talk about the fact that they didn't lynch him. This line of questioning is over. The woman steps in before you can answer. You already got the cause of death. Hanging. If there's any post-mortem trauma, it's your problem. This will not turn into a cross-examination. Ooh, fancy lawyer talk. Sorry to be an event most dramatic if you were to produce the bullet and dangle it before their very eyes. Yeah, you're right. I think he was shot in the head as a kid. His brain grew around the bullet. Beneath the axe, they don't like you knowing this. Avert asked to cooperate. Makes this a little bit easier, but my authority is still the worst. This is a white check, though. What if I take off some of my authority diminishing clothes?
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
This is better. Let's give it a shot. As you look around this room full of sweaty men swearing, drinking, spitting out tobacco, does this look familiar? You believe the place was called Precinct 41. It was also filled with almost exclusively men, sitting on desks, talking shit, and wasting time. You're just like real cops, drinking beer and sitting around with your dicks in your hands. You got a problem with beer now? No, I'm also a big fan of beer and jerking off instead of helping people. 37 months from the Ghost of Banquo. Welcome back to the $5 club. Brofist. Amandu with an OU. It's gotta be all three.
I've got nothing to say to
Door number 3. And I get that $1,200. I suppose I'll have to apply. Get my Corona bucks. Hasn't stopped you working though, has it? You're on the Zoom all day? Somewhere not far from here, the lieutenant is preparing her file. Klash Amandu, he writes. You realize the detective should be here for what comes next. It could prove dangerous to go in alone. Alright then. Do that tomorrow. Solo teaching for the first time? I mean, hopefully by next fall, that won't be an issue. Unless the world is somewhat more transformed than we expect at this time. What's on the agenda? Ask around about the tats. Ask Nana about the armor. I can do that.
Hola, Wandering Man.
They already moved all the summer school online. Well, I mean, you know, after summer, there's a whole bunch of other seasons and then fall, so you've got a buffer. So I went to this boy. He said, "It'll make me his prison bitch." He's got eyes everywhere. The cop's in his pocket. He's the king of Jamrock. Serves me right for doing menial footwork. Did some research into this Armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library. Didn't get into the material science, just how it comes off. He is sincerely grateful he's not tracking down pieces of armor right now. You know what? What do I need armor for? Am I a fighter? You know anything about tattoos, racist man?
Looking for something odd? Huh?
Nope. Do I have enough food? Yeah. I mean, tofu keeps forever. I have tofu and rice. Basically, I'm ordering like fruit and veggies from Amazon intermittently. And like oatmeal. Sea monster. Hmm. How about you?
Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Oh, I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich. Talk to Angry Odorene first.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape?
My name. You're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
This one's still chewing on his sandwich.
I am trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old, I can see that. We're both old. Now, stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball, play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first, ask questions, never. It's ball time. Don't even waste your breath asking about the game. They wouldn't know anyway. They're way past their prime. Let's do it. You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work. Just do it. Just ball it. The shot was at least 23 meters, probably 24. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Man his age getting worked up like that, better watch the blood pressure. Not a sorry cop. Not today. You vandalized our game, son. We can't play petanque with 5 bulls. Your food's dwindling, but you got tons of Soylent. Yeah, you'll be fine then. Soylent is a superfood. Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. You owe us a goddamn bull. Saying I'm gonna fix this is kind of like being a sorry cop, but I'm not saying sorry. So it's fine. Look, officer, a container yard doesn't need a guardsman. Never had one before Renee. Mr. Clare had that booth built especially for him. It's mostly decorative. The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals. Everard created this job for Renee because he knows the Royal Carabiniers pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. I wanted to say carabiner here, but that's not what it says. A decorated kingsman collecting terror reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words. Such dependency only weakens a man. Do or die. Listen, let's get back on topic. Secret task complete. Dude, I have like 2 levels to gain right now. What did I want? Conceptualization? Empathy? Fortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has completely passed me by. Martin is the union's the law, so can you really blame him? Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets. Well, that makes sense. You're a boomer. Your time is better spent discussing politics. So this is a waste of time. Talking politics with old men. What am I? The Iliadic stranger? It's a man with a lot of past but little present, and almost no future. Was it made by a sea monster? No, he says without even smiling. It was left by heavy artillery fire. That's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Sadly, no, it wasn't me. It's the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly, too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked. Should have fought dirty. Like they did with their suicide, sex cult propaganda, and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't, though. We lacked caliber. God bless them, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough. It's probably more complicated than that. I don't know how old the Elysium Stranger is. I should have considered to say the what is it, the Athenian Stranger from the Laws, because they're definitely all old men, right? Yeah, I remember them being like, "Ha, we're all old. Let's talk about old man stuff." I'd bomb this place too. Martinez was used as one of 3 footholds in Revachol during the Operation Death Blow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. Nod thoughtfully. This here is Blood Ground, where Coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing petanque on their mangled corpses. Most of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. Now the Union Socialists are practically running the place. What's your own damn fault, the jolly man remarks. You, we, the Coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course they still hold influence. You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the what do you think? Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one. That's how it should be. Soft socialists paving the way for the hard working class to take over. Foreign powers cleaned up our mess, now they rule us. Shake your head in shame. Coalition seems quite capable. Commies just don't understand how money works. I don't think, I just do. They're not. I'm sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food, drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned to Revachol, or even if that damn clown Fristle had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. This royal failure weighs heavily on him. Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away. Now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere, foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on radio. He sighs. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the rule of suzerain with. Guillaume was a true king in both blood and mind. Led Revachol before Fristle would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile. Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him and he doesn't want to admit it. Damn Fristle. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabiniers failed him and the crown. He died in the hands of the hoi polloi in a very public execution. He slouches as he says that. Makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the mob. Suzerain is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? They've forgotten already. Soon they'll forget everything. Him too. Then he chooses anger over melancholy. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened, when we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. -1 through the pool in the sea. Composure. My composure is pretty good. This is such a hard check. I need to improve my odds. I mean, I was just doing what the ball told me to do. I have no regrets about the pool. We have a monarchist on our hands. How should a true king rule? Now we're getting to brass tacks, Tommy. Yeah, also the hoi polloi. Let me go get some cash from the ATM machine. A true king should rule decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Seems to me a leader should take care of his people before himself. A nation is only as strong as its leader. That's why it was such madness to try to... Don't get started on that again. What happened happened. There's some weariness in his voice now. He's heard this rant many times before. The Carbineer doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform. It's a symbol for him. What was that about cocaine? Old Philippe was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loved so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. His egocentricity is borderline legendary. You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? He asks, obviously annoyed. That's why the Philippian kings used cocaine, for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revachel's finest years. He seems to grow taller, brimming with pride about the past. Philippe III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court medic administered a dose to his mother when she was in labor. It's well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms. Higher realms, of course. It all makes sense. He's just making excuses for the king's habits, isn't he? What was that about higher realms? It's really not. Do spare us the cocaine fairy tales. White check. Can I buff my composure at all? Where's that? I'll just give it a shot.
We're still waiting for a replacement for the bull you sent sinking.
The Sibihiri Guaru, I agree. He's the way a king should be. Oof. All you observe is a veteran refusing to let go of the past and his old uniform. This is not uncommon. He catches your glance and nods. This is the uniform of the Royal Carbineers in service of Frischel I, Guillaume le Lion, and the valiant King Philippe V before him. You do not speak his name, Craven. Though he was a clown, he was our clown. Ours to ridicule and to mourn. There's something you missed, so you'll get to it though. Composure check.
I have really outdone myself. This is divine.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston. More padding on that fat ass of yours. I hope your heart gives out.
Thick.
René, it's the little pleasures. Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Oh, hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day?
Give me your food. Suddenly you realize how hungry you are. The last time you ate must have been, God knows when. eons ago, probably when you were still a child. The sandwich looks like a culinary wonder, well made and abundant in components. The authors sure knew their craft. In addition to the obvious slice of ham, a fat one, he noticed a brim of tomato peeking from below, and is that mayonnaise? Whoa, 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 whoa. We're dealing with a ham sandwich here. Why is it mayonnaise and not mustard? Suddenly I'm not even interested in the sandwich, but I am really hungry though. Come on, ham sandwich, mustard. Believe me, officer, I wish I could help you, but I need this sandwich to keep my blood sugar stable. He's squirming, avoiding your gaze. My age, I need to pay attention to these things. I need the sandwich. Fuck off, it's mine. He jerks away, immediately startled by his own reaction. A glimmer of respect flashes in Renee's eyes. Hey, maybe that'll help me with the check. Sorry, officer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in a bad way, but the sandwich is mine. I'm not going to share it. And it's gone. When the dissidents come to rape our country, he hides. But try to get a bite of his dear sandwich and he gets claws? You're a special kind of vermin, Gaston. Rhetoric, legendary. Convince Gaston to relinquish his sandwich. Again, fucked up by throwing the ball in the ocean. My rhetoric seems low. Wait, check. I must be wearing something that lowers it. Yeah, it's this one.
Officer, the mere sight of Police Martinez makes me feel safer already. How can I help you?
Do not defile her memory, Gaston. There's an almost imperceptibly small tremble in his voice. Let her rest in peace. Ho ho ho. Time for a 60-year-old argument. Till the very end, she couldn't decide between us. The most indecisive woman I've ever met. It's Celamen. Got these two, and then there was another guy who decided to leave the city, live in the forest. She could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast, favorite color, which one of us to marry. She's always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married. Women, right? Technically, we're both still engaged to her. Seduced her with your fancy words and pastries. Caviar socialist. Wish I could, but I just don't know anything. I always keep my nose clean, don't gossip. Everyone knows and respects that. That's bullshit. Of course he's holding back. The Cribineer crosses his arms. His mouth is so full of union prick he can't even speak properly. Ooh, ho ho. Everyone in Martinez knows the Clare brothers, he says solemnly. I taught these boys human studies and history in the gymnasium. Everard keeps me on the payroll just for the little things. I hate the socialist rabble, but even siding with them is better than living your entire life on the fence, never committing to anything. Pick a damn side already. I do little things for Everard too. I feel terrible about it. Politics is not something I involve myself in, officer. You need something to believe in. I believe everyone has the right to think and do whatever they want. Even if it's nothing at all, I'm very adaptable. Good to know. %17 white check? I like those odds. Sooner or later, some foreign anarchist is gonna steal your sandwich, that's a fact. Your blood sandwich is a tool of the oppressors designed to keep the proletariat docile. These options seem awfully fascist or communist. What if I don't want to say them? Say one of these fascist or communist things or fuck off. Enormous bulls worthy of a real man. I mean, Laggy, I chose to fuck off. That was one of the options. I did sort of commit to building communism, ending all capital, but you know, then I got some money. That's how things work. You get older, you get a little money. See things differently. In my case, you know, it was getting like $60 from Kitsuragi pawning his rims. But that was enough. Equip this to collect, tear from the streets. I guess that's something I can do while Kitsuragi's not here. Be a bagman. I'm rich now. You've become garbage cup. True. Wow, this is so hard. I have to talk to Cindy to figure this shit out.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Does anyone have a real home in a city like this? The inspiration will come to her once hell is set loose on the streets. Well, I spiked the borscht. So Cindy, you're in luck. Inspiration is on its way. Alright, sad piggy, I'll give you this one. Saw a little girl in the fishing village running around with military grade handwear. Looked cute as hell. You haven't been there? The village is a shithole down the coast from the main plaza. She waves her hand in the general westward direction. Have a good time. No, that's all the snitching Cindy the Skull does for today. Actually, I don't even know why I told you what I just told you. She looked at you, a little sad suddenly. I have a weakness for animals. It's the animal thing again, damn it. Being a pig pays off. Even a garbage pig. What else can I do with no Kitsuragi? Besides pick up trash. Could read my books. I don't want to inspect apricot chewing gum. That seems dangerous. A white envelope with a stamp attached to the upper right corner, handed to you by Everard Clare. Inside are some legal documents with 2 names printed on them. Oh yeah, I have this task to do. I completely forgot about that shit. You should find the gun that shot this bullet. That makes a lot of sense. A jacketed bullet, which would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzle loader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez. Very interesting. You have an unusual military-grade bullet in your hand. Now, all you need to do is find the gun that could fire it. White check. Might be able to buff this with some conversations. I don't know that I want to raise hand-eye coordination to like try this again. Books. Before we read The Man from Helmdall and the Devil Woman, I'm going to use the bathroom. Be right back. The frontispiece of this old paperback features a muscle man in chains, kneeling before a salacious-looking woman on a regal seat. A bonfire lies between the throne and the man, casting shadows on the wall, and the shadow of the vixen's headdress looks like a pair of demonic horns. The edges of the pages are worn and smudged. A lot of people have read about the Devil Woman's altercations with the Helmdall man. Jacket copy proclaims, Man from Helmdall returns in his most exciting adventure yet. After crashing into a strange jungle, cannibalistic natives abduct his only surviving comrade, Noble Turbold. Before a man from Helmdall can mount a rescue, he is ambushed by a tribe of female warriors and taken to the ancient citadel of Cloud City, where a mysterious and wicked queen rules supreme. Will Man from Helmdall be able to escape his dire situation and find his missing friend? Let's find out. Wielding his two Zweihanders, carving his way through a sea of dark-skinned savages, his visage fixed in grim determination. Some retrograde stuff. When was this shit written? This book was written in 38. Oh shit, gritty and heroic. Berserker rage burns in his azure-hued eyes as he brings glory and honor to his long-lost Helmdaller tribe from the village of Helmdall. The ivory giant roars like an ice bear, and the winds of Kata howl out his name. I think I got the gist. The Greatest Innocence. This dusty tome brings knowledge on the history of innocences. It is written by one João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego, a Mesque fascist, who tries to reach a conclusion on which of the innocences is the coolest in the world. Book's large and heavy. Let's crack this bad boy open. Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events, historical. Most of it ends up a twisted mass of facts inside your brain. You can do it. It'll be worth it. There's something here. Your educational survey is done. You catch any of that? No? Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you learned. This might take a few minutes. Ready? That's a spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence? Dolores Day. My pain threshold. Fuck. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions among these modern colors silver, white, and apricot. When you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath in the airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps? Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust and the ice and the humans. It's unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to arouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't her. Fuck, I'm really bad at guessing. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner, spoke her mind, and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than prescribing to a deified model of history, often called an anti-innocence. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blames her for not taking the side of the left during the turn of the century revolution. Innocences don't usually resign. Try again. Bingo. Nothing much is known about the Paracarnassian. Not even clear it was a he, but Frankenegro presumed as such and called him pious. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It said he invented God, and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring that love. As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It's presumed his disciples were the beginning of the holy party. Question 2. Who is the strongest innocence? It's gotta be Frankenegro. Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule. At the same time, ended serfdom and established the inter-isolated real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Frankenegro attempted to resolve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission. At the same time, a rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Stepan the Despicable. Sounds too on the nose. Let's just go with Erno Pasternak. Correct. There have been a number of counter or false popes, some assumed to have pope-like qualities, some just thought themselves so. Occasionally, the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and important of these was Erno Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest, but he got defeated and humiliated by Stepan the Despicable of Kedra. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the big one. Question 4. Who is the greatest innocence, the most important of them all, the most precious to humankind? Give me the hint. The correct answer is Frankenegro. 0 doubts. Alright, encyclopedia. Fuck. Well, Frankenegro built concrete churches and cathedrals, and while many people, especially the Mesque, consider him a father figure due to his militarism and nationalism, João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego argues differently. Another choice, perhaps? Oh yeah, militarism and nationalism, my bad. Correct. The Mesque might see Frankenegro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence, a most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from interstellar travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get a C. Vaguely passable. A solid effort with nothing much else to show. Nice going, mediocrity man. You'd have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. You are shouting at an inanimate object like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers. I did some reading. Picked up some trash. Guess I can just keep exploring in the absence of Kim Kitsuragi. If you get mods to a check from other things that aren't leveling the skill, the check still gets unlocked. Oh, so I could have just checked the wall. Unless you're afraid of the consequences of failure, there's no reason not to try white checks even at low odds. Good to know. I'll be more liberal trying it out then. This is just the pawn shop. Don't really like music. What's wrong with you, Roy? What? The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room. $700 real. Interfacing. Do I think the boombox has the karaoke song? Maybe. Play it on a boombox, memorize the lyrics. Yeah, I need that to sing karaoke. Alright. I guess I'm buying a boombox. A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock, and on an enormous billboard that's fallen into the canal between them. My friend Barry the Butcher, stuck on the other side of the waterlock. I'm keeping him company and eating his salami. In the corner of your eye, you see a man in a yellow shirt and gray overalls, waving at you from across the canal. He seems disappointed about the wreckage on the waterlock, and about the salami. Nice.
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest styles right here.
Meh. Not crazy about them.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro design. Save the economy with your style, officer.
Haven't you heard, officer? We gotta be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circulation, don't buy new things, buy eco. Ground officer, you see all these premium goods just sitting there, not getting bought? Gotta keep the flow of goods moving. Is this really the economy we want to leave to our children? This economy is really just a distraction from the cultural issues, you know, immigrants. It's bad, officer. Kids make it all worthwhile. Without kids, who's going to be around to enjoy the economy? Don't let me stop you. Open the box and browse a little. You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends that make your body itch and sweat in all the wrong places. This box smells like cat piss, or like an old person with no money. Economical, but also trendy. Find something worth salvaging. Something cold grazes your hand, synthetic and sleek. A windbreaker. Surf, it says, but also wind, summer, 100% waterproof, and sport, all in different typefaces. This jacket is the apex of human evolution, the moment at which man became weatherproof. Good choice, officer. Mega sporty. +1 composure. I'll take it. How is my composure looking anyway? Could always be higher. Shivers is this thing. Yeah, let's commit to having bad shivers. Nice. So out west is where some quests are. Can't get there yet. Any quests I can do before I turn in?
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
Hey, give me money. Sometimes failing checks can be better than passing them.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
She's like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher. Can she answer the classroom question? I'm 15. She's optimistic. Science is doing great, and this radio computer thing seems to be kind of big. You know what? She's right. Computers are going to be huge. Big money.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
The windows are clear, they've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. Fumes of heavy fuel oil waft over you, making your eyes sting. The odor mixes with cigarette residue. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. A large metal pendant hangs from the rearview mirror. The pendant features a sun, crowned with wavy rays. The back end of the cabin is a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. The book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads Man from Helmdall and the Lost City of the Pygmies. A fellow fan. Kitsuragi told me not to do this, so I guess now's my chance.
Where am I? Who are you?
Like a magician recalling the subject from hypnosis, you've jolted her back to reality. The smile on her face has disappeared, replaced by the wary aspect of a cornered beast.
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in the traffic jam. In the 50s. Back in Mefke, during the time of the revolution, the sidewalks and coffees are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a nearby date picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro. Until you come along, that is. This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw is the most perfectly chiseled thing you've ever seen.
He was the biggest star of his day. The adults used to faint in the eyes of the cinema whenever he came on the screen, and schoolboys used to memorize all his lines. Someone was. They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make if it's me or not?
Got a skeptic over here.
They are beautiful. That is all that matters, beautiful and true. And they will win. They are coming for this, you know. All of this.
She seems to derive some bitter pleasure from this strange thought, as if the past will one day wipe the present away like a tidal wave approaching.
I wasn't dreaming. I was there, low man. It was early spring, and the man behind the black sun had just come out. The posters were 20 meters tall. Everything was golden.
Her eyes narrow. She appears to take your measure.
While you people were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution. In Mefke, it was a golden age. Why not, Herife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
She settles back against the railing of her motor lorry. Behind her, mountains of memorabilia, photos, and knickknacks line the dashboard. Something off about this woman. Tell her to show you the soles of her boots. Maybe she was at the hanging somehow. She raises her boots slowly, with contempt, and says, I'm starting to think you should let me get back to Gabriel Buenguerra. You're no Gabriel. She's wearing sturdy worker's boots made of black leather. Buckles run across. The sole is also made of leather. Just before Gabriel, it was the coronation of Franco Negro. Now there was a real man. There's no aberration in the pattern you can see. She puts her foot down. Moreover, the boots were size 37. Tiny. There are too many discrepancies in all this. These are not the boots I was looking for. Feet of a little girl, huh? Bad hands, Hermenegildo's bad hands strangled 300 people. What can I say? Some people just really like strangling people. Of course, doesn't happen. Boyadera returns from the Western Plain a changed man. One night, as he and his beloved are out walking along the river Magritte, she pleads with him to give up his riding and settle down. In the background, you can hear the orchestra swell as the screen fills with the maiden's imploring eyes. As the Boyadera strangles his beloved, throws her body in the Magritte. Then he rides off, because the Western Plain is calling to him. The most beautiful. A true Boyadera needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a Boyadera. What if to truly love a Boyadera is to float lifeless downstream? You're quite shabby. Yeah, I'm like about to die. There's a protagonista. She gestures to the intersection, and an adversario. I'm on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hall. The pale. Sounds like the drug to me. Maybe if she thought you were corrupt. Who the fuck is Everard? What do I care about the union boss? He's not Gabriel. He's not Franco-Negro. He's not even Hermenegildo the Hand. You smuggling drugs? Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference. I've interviewed another lorry driver. Maybe that'll satisfy Joyce.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I guess not. In the dimming light, some things become clear. You see it, finally. This wall is sublime. Look at it. The shadows, the colors. Let the conceptual joy flow into your pupils and blossom into thoughts in your brain. All the other walls and all the other houses must make a pilgrimage in adoration of this, the uncontested pinnacle of wallcraft. Color peeled from the very face of God. Oh, Wall Father. Absolutely. Now you just need the materials. Cindy the Skull as a paintbrush and paint. Talk to her.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
What kind of art are we talking about here? Everything is sad and shit, and we need art to make it okay. Just give me the brush. Sounds like you're just about to live out your self-pity, not make a statement. I can't have shit art on my conscience. You will all see. You're about to cry internally, aren't you, Piggy? She utters a disapproving groan. Pathetic. Just give up. Art isn't for you. Attempts to explain your artistic intentions. Conceptualization is 6. This is a red check. It cannot be retried. That's so tough. How do I explain my artistic intentions? I guess I need some artistic intentions. Maybe the bookstore will help. Or this. So loud. Your money disappears into the coin slot. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab gray shape, like a ghost. Lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible, a half-sunken sea fort, its concrete almost reconquered by nature. Looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind. I don't know if that gave me any artistic inspiration, but it was pretty.
You've hurt yourself now. I told you not to mess around back there. What are you even trying to accomplish, you fool?
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now. I'm very busy with my homework. I have so much homework now.
What are you missing? Why does this feel familiar? I got a hat. Nice.
Hi, Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Shit. Got upgrade suggestion. Pain threshold. Let's try it. Oh no. I wonder if the alcohol effect is still on me. Doesn't look like it. I can almost hear them breathe. Hello, this is Tricentennial Electrics. This is a woman's voice, crackling and fragile through the static. You want to place an order? She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. Her receiver must not be working properly. My God. It's you. My God, I didn't think I would hear your voice again. Who cares that you don't remember? Just go along with it. No, something's wrong here. Are you sure she's talking to you? Michelle, just please. She stops. You can hear her breathe heavily, her breath distorted by ancient static. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. She sounds like she's shaking. I thought you didn't care. Of course I care. Ever since I came to work here, it's been different, as if my mind's been wiped clean. A spot of static overrides her words. When she speaks again, it sounds like she's submerged. It's so nice. So nice to be able to finally forget. She sounds like she's about to cry. She doesn't answer. Feels bad. Well, shit. What is there left to do today?
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
I could subscribe to his advanced race theory. Doesn't seem like a great idea though. My work involves, you know, cooperation with Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Becoming a racist is not going to make that easier. What to do? Look for artistic inspiration to convince, what's her name, Cindy. Who would know about art? Talk to that dude. I bet Kuno knows about art. He might not talk to me.
Fuck, does Kuno care?
Kuno doesn't want to discuss Rage City. That's so ungodly loud. Tape would help. Oh yeah, at 2100, I have a meeting.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Economics of this boot. Do I want to give this another shot? I guess I can't. Ooh, I can buff this.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
6 kilometers southwest in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner Emil Mullins whispers, "You heard what happens at Tequila Sunset and Martinez?" "Yeah, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, finger on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." Pulls on it slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do. What am I? You are an officer of the RCM. A Revachol Citizens Militia? Precisamundo. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, detective. Yes, de facto. That means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer, and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis, to the benefit of foreign capital. So I'm basically one of the good guys. There's nothing basic about your role, detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they're not fans of you. Post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. True blue citizens initiative. They'll never forgive you. So permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. If those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, I'm here to help. Splat, splat. From a dilapidated balcony, a young girl, Cindy the Skull, gives Joyce the evil eye, a red paintbrush held to her throat. You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a sawing motion. Wonderful. What is that? Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of teen infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the superculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. A hipster. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the superculture. I understand everything. Make it more complicated somehow. I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques of itself into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. Alright, David Foster Wallace. Good talk. Something you're not so sure you're part of the superculture. Disco. I can see that. I dabbled in those dark arts myself not so long ago. I assure you, it was a thoroughly supercultural phenomenon, all permeating, downright mandatory. Nothing in for a bad disco, baby. Those days are long behind me. She looks inland with sarcastic wistfulness, and even in the early 30s, I would say I was more of a new girl. Disco was a minor, but still enjoyable facet of the whole thing. Jesus, that sound. Yeah, that was incredibly loud. Could talk to Joyce? Oh, I've been ignoring my chat. Yeah, it occurred to me to talk to Joyce. When I exhausted all my other options. Ultra liberal. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-colored everything. Champagne-colored horses. By the look of it, that would have been when you came of age. No. Wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if you can remember the new, you weren't there? This is not really central to reality. But let's talk about it. I believe he died due to complications from venereal disease. You can't get a venereal disease from that, can you? It's all part of his mystique. I think I had this conversation already. Well, that's grim. Actually, they're good apes. Ooh. New level. $40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. Communists all got shot in the head. Truly a kerfuffle. The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. Technically speaking, you are a moralist. Hmm. A devout man of the center. Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have a necktie. Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage. "51 minus 8 equals 43. Hmm. The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Artificial East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. Yes. And quantitative easing. It's a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An isolator-wide hangover, you might say. So here we are. Welcome to reality, baby. From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the Special Administrative Region. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away. I have no right to be dissatisfied, she shakes her head. This shirt is Barbara Moskova. This raincoat is impervious terrain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just... Could have had so much more. If only we'd played it right. Good question. What would you have done differently? Her first. And I asked you, pastless detective of Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given you? I would have sought a medical solution. I'm a doctor. I would have killed more people. You would have most likely died. Yeah, that's true. Such was the fate of the undecided. Ask her who she is. I'm the vilest of the vile, a traitor, devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra. She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine. Dios mío, a liberal. Yes, I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart, a real moralist, no? Tell me. Now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening? In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Devil woman. Afraid you'll find that every woman is a devil woman, detective. There are only aesthetic differences between one and the other. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. She turns her gaze to the Delta. This was all our last generation managed. With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinez. Not in Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. It's not for my own sake. She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them. Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it. Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire in the ocean. Suppose I am, but I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate political opinions somewhere in Martinez. Mr. Reasonable. It's also about that. But it's also so much more. Perhaps it's the hangover, perhaps it's the temporary surge of serotonin, but something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. I'm trying to develop more extreme and interesting opinions. It is not a place, it is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's been achieved only a handful of times. Incrementally. History's greatest catastrophe has been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increments by increments. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Your children may not, even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What benevolence. You believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed? Usually, yeah. There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress. Kingdom is difficult to comprehend and even more difficult to describe. I'm losing time here. I have an appointment to make. Maybe I'll just be late. Partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define it and limited it today. The Kingdom of Conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, even post-sexual. Post-sexual. Kingdom of Conscience is coming, whether you like it or not. Very slowly, though. Incredible. I'm right on time. After 2100? Oh, whatever. Thought gained. You have found a trace of entity who's been stalking across the plains. The Gloom Stalker, the conglomeration, the shadowy organization behind your downfall, possibly connected to the dreaded X something. Granted, it's impossible to determine its true identity. But you can remember where you first smelled its treachery. Yes. Use the Tutti Frutti gum wrapper. Reconstruct the day you first breathed in her untrustworthy aroma. The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. For a moment, the world's store of precious metal seems to increase dramatically, and you're rich. There's a movement next to you, the shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn towards it, there's nothing there. Where did it go? Why are you talking to a gum wrapper? Just killing some time, I guess.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
The young man on the balcony gives you a bright smile before taking another drag from his cigarette. His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets and motorways flashing like diamonds. Feels like a Friday. He seems to be in a good mood tonight.
Beautiful. So tell me, are you here to make things right again?
Oh no. Ignore his question.
Beautiful. I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you, and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
Am I gonna get some artistic inspiration here? Trust me, you do. Something tells you you're never going to talk to an individual this cool or mysterious ever again. Level up. Could consider endurance or pain tolerance for that door. I forget which one. My logic is buff right now. Buckets of paint. Good sign. Need to learn about art right now. Drama, huh?
You have acquired the hat. Keep it, officer. It looks good on you. My name is Charles Villedron. I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stability on assignment from Sir Leclerc. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I'm here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging. Oh, we got it from an atelier in the East Delta Commerce Center. Personally, I think it's a little culturally insensitive, but the material is great. Sadly, the shop is now out of business. That's really all I can tell you about it.
He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers like a drama teacher setting the scene. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in carrying what looked like a body, and I saw the surrounding windows go dead one by one. That's when I understood I should not be seeing this. Couldn't see their faces well, there were quite a few of them. They were loud and very Martinez. Say that the laboring classes can get rather expressive with their profanities. Couldn't tell how many. 8. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight. I'm renovating it. It's an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took the top 4 stories off. This, of course, happened when the coalition forces landed here. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when we arrived. La Communauté Internationale is what Revacholians colloquially call the coalition. In other words, the nations that stopped the disaster of the revolution. What do I call the coalition? Your employer, technically speaking. The governing authority of Revachol, Arstan is but one part of this provisional administration. As I said before, I'm a commissioner from Sur-le-Clef, working for the Institute of Price Stabilité. This is one of the main projects of the Moral Intern. It is the most important thing. It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy, maintaining the price stability. It's essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining high levels of employment, which is essential for maintaining the social stability. Take your daily bread, for example. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to produce. That's why the Institute of Price Stability works to keep inflation just below 2%. But not too far below, no. Too below is also bad. Below, but close to 2%. The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. Would you like an informational pamphlet? A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the raison d'etre of the moral intern. It's the reason I identify as a moralist. Epatz's pockets. Don't have my leaflets on me today, that's too bad. You can always call on our information line. Making information available is part of the moral intern's commitment to transparency. It's the International Organization for Moralists, hence Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many mind babies, as is the coalition. I'm a moralist because moralists believe in a normal, stable world governed by democratic values. The Occident is part of the normal world. Orange, Sur-le-Clef. Martinez is something else. Revachol hasn't yet achieved full democracy, but they're working towards it incrementally. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking. He gives you an approving nod. Democracy is a meaningless sham as long as the working class is under the boot heel of capital. Every time I'm talking to people, I'm choosing option D, none of the above. Is that moralism? Am I doing that? Let's be a communist. My friend, the lesson of the revolution is that communism doesn't work. You just haven't tried real communism yet. Yes, the unattainable ideal. Never settle for less. Good luck, my friend. It's not like you're going to gather any forces soon with all that drinking. He knows it. Enough of this delightful political interlude. Is there anything else you wanted? What's there to say? Sur-le-Clef is a modern, urbanized country that measures very high on the Human Development and Freedom Index. Mostly, though, it's known as the executive heart of EPIS. Moreover, it is a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is only one of its many darlings whose progress it supports and cherishes. A great percentage of Revachol's culture hails from Sur-le-Clef. Its language, people, cuisine even, or at least in the downtown and the Delta areas. Jamrock and other parts of the international zone have been mercifully spared. Sur-le-Clef's love for meatballs and mashed potatoes. Orange is an exemplary nation who, as a core member of EPIS, contributes 28% of our annual budget. Next to Sur-le-Clef, Orange is probably the most prominent member of the international community. Orange's economy is one of the most advanced in the world. It has successfully transitioned from heavy industry to advanced services, generally acts as an engine for sustainable change in the international community. I didn't tell you anything. Can you talk like a normal person? Oh, it's very urban. Very well organized. The streets are clean, horse cars run on time, the people are polite and efficient. It's Denmark. They're an example for less emerged nations to follow. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra and life has not been easy for him, but he understands the importance of education. He's taken his future into his own hands. That's all that matters. Kedra is a candidate member of the EPIS. Between you and me, their potential membership is a more contentious issue. It's never going to happen. They entered negotiations in 21. It's been pending ever since. It's warm. It's also known for mandarin trees and dust storms. Kedra is an emerging market, but it has a long way to go. Maybe that's why my friend's menage decided to emigrate. How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insulindian Isla, oil platforms ablaze in the night, civil wars lasting for years. Finally, the international community is forced to step in. No one becomes friends that way. Au contraire, it's how millions of people end up where they are, meeting the people they meet. It's how I came here, my friend too. Sorry, what? I told you, officer, he's a bright young man, here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our future, especially the arts. It's a cornerstone of our civilization. Officer, you have to understand, I can't give you personal information. I'm sure you have your own methods and databases, right? Don't put me in that situation. He is deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes. He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Graphic design, printmaking, who knows. The world is wide open for a talented youth like him. He literally knows nothing about him. I'm just enjoying the view. A baby is crying in the neighboring apartment. Now listen. The Insulindian Bay. My friend comes and goes, I'm sure you'll see him around. He's a busy bee. What an odd choice of words. Do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave. It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen. And I'm pressed for time. After you leave, I should be leaving as well. That's not the real reason he's so apprehensive. Men in his position shouldn't be seen loitering around in underprivileged young men's apartments in the middle of the night. That is a logical answer. Now
Was there anything else?
People can't figure out he's gay. I mean, I was assuming he was a prostitute. But, that's just the logical answer. I have a very high logic score. I'm always thinking logical things. Have I gotten any artistic inspiration at all?
Have you come to admire
No.
my mural?
And this is still a red check. I need inspiration bad. What else do I need to do? I need to find a track to play on my boombox that I bought. I need to... This is a white check. I can retry it. So I might as well, right? Failure. I need to investigate the bullet. I need to find artistic inspiration to convince Cindy to give me some paint. I need to break down that door, just because I want to. I need to deal with the fact that Kuno is gonna fuck me up. Because I won't give him drugs. I also need to decide what to do with those drugs. Maybe I can just take them. I haven't really decided yet. I could also sell them. What are they worth? Doesn't say. Maybe I can't sell them at a pawn shop. Just drugs.
Oh, hello, dear. I didn't notice you at first.
Suggestion.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
Hey Lena, I'd like to hear about some of these cryptids. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Coconut Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes. A mirage or Psychogenous luminance. She does not elaborate the nature of this luminance further. No one knows for sure. It's like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon, expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. So precise. This towering luminosity of Coconut is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's Fata Morgana, others, a fate unimaginable. That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Coconut must be the largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Coconut Desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes. Oh yeah, gravity anomaly. This is great shit. Gravity anomaly, oh yeah. A unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Katla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Katlin Mijanu some 70 years ago. The bacterial colony Mijanu found has remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate, certainly before recorded history. Mijanu disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she'd brought back to study, no doubt in the hopes of prolonging her own life. She's quite mad, too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We assume she's been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter kitlensis coursing through her bloodstream. The most dangerous cryptid? It's the gnome of Jeroma. She pauses for effect. Hasn't sound so bad. Oh, it is. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved their organic tissue. It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead. Ungainly little thing. Quite scary to look at. A couple campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared, wrapped in a tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the name of Jeroma an entire day to die. Alas, no. The first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking it would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science. Alas, and then it was gone. I understand your skepticism. That's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, and they're least likely to be found again. It's the kind green ape. Half war story, half undiscovered species in the genus Homo. It was reported by soldiers in Tiananmen during the war. The kind green ape would visit bunkers during the night, healing wounded soldiers with its saliva. Wow. It has amazing healing qualities. Some soldiers reported growing back limbs, regaining their sight. Indeed, it is our closest relative among the cryptids. Same taxonomic family, different genus. Which is to say, the kind green ape is a species with which we share a common ancestor, and that evolved parallel to our own, just like your partners. Oh my god. I didn't mean to imply that sealed lights are in any way inferior to us. In some ways, they are superior. Every species has advantages and disadvantages. Crazy old racist woman. The kind green ape, too, is in some ways superior to us. Such kindness as it is demonstrated is not common among humans. Kindness may not be an evolutionary advantage, granted. What an interesting question, an invisible cryptid. The answer is yes. The Col de Mama d'Aqua, or thin whisper of sound. That's precisely what it seems to be. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. It's very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track. Col de Mama d'Aqua can also be translated as a whisper light and low. Her eyes light up behind her glasses. That's another translation. They're both quite lovely, aren't they? Although the low part is a little ironic. The Col de Mama d'Aqua is such a high-pitched sound that other animals, including humans, can't hear it. Could be everywhere, all the time, and we wouldn't know. An invisible and inaudible thing. Yes. Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory. What evidence is there of this animal being a sound? Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Areopagite ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ia mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies. Patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination, they were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds. Scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched bat calls. They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Col de Mamadaqua, after the Parcarnassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent. They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even begin to name some of them. Sequester, Time, Josquin. Those are but some of the Mamadaqua they followed individually. It could be right here. We wouldn't know any better. Why are they afraid of us? It's a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work and their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction. They tried to communicate with it, but had no other means but sound, so they started sending out sound waves at frequencies that they thought might match the Mamadaqwas. And what happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, They cancel each other out. Precisely. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, they wiped out most of the population. Great regret washes over her. A wending cloth. After that, the corpuscles appeared to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ia, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Col de Mamadaqua population anywhere. Fascinating. I'm glad you like them, but I'm not really one to tell you about all of them. You should ask my husband if you get the chance. He's the real expert.
Can I help you?
There's your money. Need to find a tape somehow. No recap of the lieutenant, because he's not back yet. I have a level up point to spare, don't I? I'm clean up my room a little bit. Weight check, though. Electrochemistry, huh? Worth a shot. Bedtime. The bed is still cold from the wind blowing in from the broken window. The mattress creaks as you close your eyes and try your hardest to fall asleep.
Here we are again, my broken bud. The waves are coming, carrying you away. But you can't go. No, you have to stay. Always half aware of yourself. You're not cooperating, brother man. It's your disgusting body. Even through your sleep, you feel a vague discomfort suffusing it. Your belly and your sides are unpleasantly tender. You wish you could curl up into a fetal ball of safety. But you cannot, because of the pain.
That pain in your right side is your enlarged liver, by the way. As for your kidneys, you've really been compounding the damage lately. Every cell in your body is moaning in agony, asking, what did we ever do to you? I'm not a sorry cop. I blame the system.
Yes, your body is a system, and it's failing you because you're failing it.
I deserve this. I'm an artist.
Oh yes, that'll check you out. Give you some pills. Make it all okay. The Wonder Makers.
Don't be stupid, Harry. It's not happening. They don't make new kidneys and livers in hospital. All you've got to do is pray to God it passes, while you stare at the flickering darkness.
You're just stuck here, in the half-world. Could try looking at other people. Really looking. But why would you want to start doing that? Sure you do. They're all so friendly, aren't they?
People are beautiful, statuesque, parodies and tragedies of themselves, a great democracy of creatures.
What do you think you're doing right now? Coming to some greater awareness? Look at all these lights, blinking in and out of existence. Thoughts. You're just pretending that you're asleep, even to yourself, while the world goes on without you.
Let it. Let it.
But it never seems to let you go, does it? Time to rise and wipe that shining sweat off as best you can. Gather your bearings. Rock and roll.
Another good night's sleep. Feeling refreshed. Ready for a new day. Still locked, huh? All right, day 3. You still play Hearthstone? Sorry, wasn't reading the chat. Yeah, no, I haven't played Hearthstone in many a year now. 3 hours. Well, I managed to wrap up day 2, which is my intention. I think I'm gonna call it there. Thanks for watching.